This podcast is hosted and sponsored by eXp Realty and Mike Nelson, Integrity Home Group.
Hey everyone, we are here for another recording today. Super excited. I've known this gentleman for a handful of years. He's a young up-and-comer rock star down in that southeastern quadrant. We'll get into more about that here over the next 15 to 20 minutes. So super excited about him. Hell, we even went to a Braves-Astros game, World Series game. Unfortunate to say, I'm an Astros fan, and Blaine's team prevailed, and we talked a lot of crap over the last couple of years.
Not that night, dude. Not that night. That night y'all beat us.
Congratulations to you, my friend, and your team winning it since, what was it, like the 90s?
Yeah, 95, 96, something like that.
All right. So that was always fun and exciting, and like I said, him and I have connected for several years, and we give a lot of bantering behind the scenes, shall we say. Blaine is out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He has got a team there that he's running with Keller Williams. And we just want to kind of talk to him today a little bit about building teams and kind of how he got started doing that and kind of what that leverage looked like. A little bit about, I know a lot of people aspire to go, hey, I want to build a team. All right, cool. What does that look like, right? And I think we want to pick Blaine's brain today. Well, I'll say that multiple times. Blaine's brain today and go through kind of a little bit about his experience with that. Always, like we do here, we want to reward our guests that are coming on here with some referral opportunities. So if you got some folks down in Tuscaloosa, I'm sure Blaine can kind of expand on that a little bit. He's going to be your guy that takes great care of clients down in that area. So hook him up if you got some referrals. And welcome to the show today, Blaine.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So maybe give us a little bit of background. Talk a little bit about your real estate business, where you are today, how long you've been in, what your team look like, some things like that.
Yeah, I've got a 6-person team right now. I've got myself and 3 other agents, 2 admins, one who's basically an EA. Not going to call her really a director of operations person really yet, or as far as that full title goes, but pretty close as far as her capabilities go. And then I've got another person who is kind of almost taking over a lot of the transaction stuff and advertising, and that's kind of where we are. Last year, up until December, we had 2 agents still and 2 admins, and we did just south of 100 transactions. That was our first real January to January full skeleton team. This year, we're probably going to be looking more in the range of 165 to 170 transactions, and that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, that's awesome growth, man. Congratulations to that. That's super cool, and that's why I wanted you on this podcast today to talk a little bit about that. And I think you're doing it right, and obviously your numbers are reflecting you're doing it right. So super proud, super cool of that.
Thank you so much.
So okay, good. So we know you're pushing 160 projected this year based on roughly 100 last year. And that was with 6. Was that 6 producing agents? I apologize. There was just 6 on the team total. How many producing agents?
6 on the team total. Last year we had 2 for the majority of the year. This year is going to look like more like 4 probably.
Okay, cool. And are you including yourself in that number as well?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. What percentage of the business would you say that you do and the team does overall?
Last year, as far as GCI goes, it was probably about 65 to 70% me.
Okay.
Transaction-wise, another agent on the team did about the same amount of transactions that I do, but he lives in a town south of here, a little more rural community, and the sale price is much lower. And so that's what kind of offset that. As far as transactions and actual closings and work he was doing, it was about the same as mine, but his extra stuff goes up, his sale price kind of hurt him.
Yeah, unit count. Yeah, that's good.
But that's fine there. But that's where we were last year. Now we're growing and moving forward and just trying to keep the momentum moving.
I love it, man. So question for you. So I have a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of people have asked you too, is like, I think sometimes they think the next solution naturally is, I want to build a team, right? And it's not quite as easy, I think, as people think that it might be. Like, they just think like, cool, because, let's be real, I'm not sure, agents partnering together is not overly complicated, shall we say. Finding people to combine and merge together for a team is not super hard, but building the infrastructure and building the systems and providing the value is much more difficult. So maybe take me a little bit through your journey on when you first realized you thought you wanted to build a team, and what did those steps look like, and perhaps where were some missteps that you took that you would have changed a little bit differently?
Okay, yeah. If I get off track a little bit, put me back on. That was several things from my brain.
There's a lot of questions.
But I think with me, it got to a point that I was, and you know how this kind of happened with me. I was doing a lot of transactions, and I don't know if I would look back and say the number was a lot for what I am or would have been capable of. But it was a lot compared to what I did the year before, and I was just overwhelmed. So I got to looking, made a hire, and to be as an EA or a transaction coordinator to handle stuff. Ended up being a very good hire for a while, and then I got real big on internet leads. Like I was, Facebook style stuff, not like Zillow or Realtor.com or any of that stuff, but just Facebook stuff. And I was closing a bunch of them, and it got to the point that I was getting a little bit more than I probably bargained for. And there was another agent in the office here who I was sort of helping out a little bit, and I was throwing him a lead here because I just couldn't. And eventually he was asking me a lot about it. He was newer, and I was getting into a lot of, okay, well, this question came up, and this question came up, and this question came up. So it got to the point that, okay, well, now we need to just do something together, because you're getting the leads that I'm getting. I'm giving time. So let's just combine this in together and make it, more advantageous for both of us, I guess. Because I'm able to give you more time, and you're able to benefit from it on both ends. From there, it just kind of kept going. That was that admin that I hired ended up being a very, very bad hire. It's kind of the thing that, I don't know if you've ever heard this. I know here we preach the 30, 60, 90 day thing. I'm not sure what your system is there, but I have actually implemented something on my own from that is more of a 30, 60, 90, and then I don't have anybody in my mind. If I do, I do, but I still go after 6 months and do a reassessment of the situation, kind of a reset, because I've been told by a lot of people throughout my life that someone can hide their real personality, whatever, for about 6 months. Yep. Like the max they can go. And if you look at people that kind of fake it to make it, 6 months in is almost scientifically as far as they can push that doing what they do. So eventually things are going to start slipping through the cracks. And getting into another thing was was really digging into the hiring process a lot more than I did. So instead of going in now with these last two hires, I did that. With the first one, I didn't. Oh goodness gracious, help me out.
Conditioning was the old way it was called, but
they give you references, digging into second, third level references. Yeah. So, because as first and second people you say, they may tell you something great, and most of the time they're going to tell you something great anyway, because legally it's hard to say anything bad about somebody, and if they're smart, they know that.
Yep.
But once you say, well, can I? Is there two or three other people? Eventually, I would have caught that, because somebody at the last job would have known that, yeah, this person stirs up a lot of trouble, or this person doesn't show up to work on time, or this person was a headache. And those people further down the line probably aren't going to know the laws, rules as much, and they're probably going to spill a lot more beans. So,
absolutely. Let me unpack a little bit about what you just said. So I heard one of your key positions, even though you learned from failing forward, was your EA. So would you say that EA was your first hire before you partnered with the gentleman that's working with your leads today, right?
That's right.
Okay, cool. So would you agree that was probably one of the most critical positions? I won't say the individual was the best fit, but
yeah, even her, for the time that she was here and good, it served its purpose for a while, and then it just kind of ran its course. But even while she was here, she was good. Now it cost a lot of time and a lot of heartache replacing her, because I didn't take the time that I probably should have to hire her. But yeah, man, it's, I don't care if you're a single agent, like or even a buyer's agent that does a lot like stuff and wants their own. Like, I don't do anything. Like, I mean, I go check on things, make sure things are good, but stuff happens all the time in that office, because I've got my agent office and my office over here, and across the halls, my other stuff's going on in that office that I don't even know what's going on. And it's I don't think about it. I write a contract and I give them a net sheet, and a couple weeks later, maybe a repair addendum shows up in my email, or not repair addendum, but a inspection report will show up in my email. Give the if it's a buyer or seller, I don't know, because we all kind of work with both, but pops up in my box. I'll give them a call and see what they want, shoot a few things down, and then go to closing. I mean,
yeah, that leverage is huge, because then it basically not only helps you build your organization, but it also allows it for duplication.
Yeah.
Which is, I learned how Blaine does his business, and then I can document that. Now it's trainable through video, through courses, through whatnot. So that EA, I think, is one of your most important hires, even if it's from the simplistic perspective of documenting what you do, how you do it, and now you can leverage that into training opportunities for future agents that join your team. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's also important when you're hiring to not just find somebody that fits the bill and do they have the right personality type and all that stuff, but get the feel if there's somebody that's going to be bought into an organization, or if they're just going to be the worker. Because
I think that's also like a dual position. I mean, like a dual responsibility. Like, I think it's up to the rainmaker and the leader to have that vision and be able to put that in front of them as well. That's what's going to attract the talent, in my opinion, is like, hey, here's my vision. I'm not saying it's going to change. It may or may not change over the next handful of years. However, right, if I think very strong people, like very hardworking people, very career growth opportunities, want to see that vision, and they want to be able to believe in their leader.
Yeah, and it's a very I think it's a very cultural thing within the team as well, as far as, don't hire somebody because on paper they're the right, or even if you think they're the kind of person that gets bought in, but you can sit down and say, okay, well, this person's the right hire. Like, our people they're all over the board as far as, backgrounds and whatever, but they're all, you sit down when we have our little group interviews or whatever, like we had one the other day for an agent that I'm bringing on, which, you can tell if there's cohesiveness, or there's gelling, or there's that person. And he asked a lot of the right questions when he was sitting there, and he was and the reasons he wanted to come on. You can just hear a lot's done by picking people that are going to fit in with the people that you've already got, not just because they're good. Just because they're a great real estate agent or a great admin, they might not be great for you.
Right, and they may not be the right culture fit for your existing organization. And I think one of the simplistic things I hear people say, and this kind of came from Ben Kinney and others, is, do I want to work with you? Like, if I was hiring Blaine Junkin, would I want to hire him, right? Do I want him, and does he fit my culture? And he may or may not. He may be the most rock solid guy. He may be one of the top agents out there, But if he doesn't fit into our culture, then it's not going to be a win-win solution for everybody for sure. So I think you're spot on with that. So let me kind of take back for just a minute to then you moved into leads. So that was kind of your movement forward then was, hey, I was kind of like growing outside my boundary of my local city, and I may be putting words in your mouth, so let me know, but you had enough leads in an area that was perhaps becoming uncomfortable for you, that you were giving up the opportunity on some potential business because of your bandwidth, because of the travel, because of whatever. Yeah. So it naturally found an opportunity for somebody in your network, right, to assist you in getting some more deals closed simply because you were stretched.
Yeah, to an extent. A lot of those he brought with him naturally, obviously, because it's his area and his circle of influence there. But yeah, I mean, you kind of said everything that I would say about that. He's it fit so perfectly it didn't make sense to not do it. That was that's probably the best way I could put that without putting in any more words.
That's perfect. And I think that's what, if you follow like the expansion system orientation model and things like that taught at KW, it's the ink dot strategy, right? Eventually your leads are going to start outgrowing the area of circumference that you're best supported in, such that expansion that makes sense. Like if you want to use the word expansion. However, you also can stay so local that your leads, you're missing opportunity because you have so many leads coming in, even in your local city, that you need that support. I guess my message is and you can tell me if you agree or not, is let the leads drive the decision on whether you should add to your team or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that you should ever, and I'm not a guy, I'm not a person, nor do I want to be a person that does 150 transactions on his own. I don't aspire to that at all. Like that's not me. I know what, and it's not the limits that you're capable of, it's where do you want to be, because it's that whole life by design thing, right? So it's where do you want to be? At what point have you maxed out where you want to be, but you want to keep growing at the same time? And that's kind of where I'm at. So, or where I was at. Now I'm at a point where let's go further. We're at a point now where we're trying to find the next ceiling. So it's
from a profit and loss standpoint, from a total. So, and I know this is dangerous because people ask me this question all the time because every model is a little bit different. But for those looking to think about starting a team, I think sometimes they look at it as, hey, let me go find another agent because I can double how much business we do. Wow. That's a lot of people's philosophy. What do you say to that?
I think if you don't already have the capability of doing the business, you're probably going to put somebody in a position to fail.
Yep. And I think it's a value proposition, right? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Or if you don't have the capability or there's a lot more than, and maybe in a way there is, that's the thing, maybe to a point that is, but I think if you don't have the systems or the models already there that are walk-in ready, but that's not the point. You're saying what you just said about starting a team. That's when you've already got one. When you're just one person and you're just, hey, I want a team, so I'm going to go. Who's the next agent that walks through our doors? Pick them up. Not really, because that's an agent that. I mean, really, you're not there. You know what I mean? If you just hired an admin, you might be a great single real estate agent, but if you just hired an admin, you don't know enough about systems to be able to, you haven't built enough of your own to be able to feed them to somebody else.
Yeah, and that's what I see it, right, is a lot of these folks might be good at sales and they might not be good at sales, but when you start to build a team, or even if your first hire is an EA, like that's the start of a team, you now become a business owner, right? And I'm not saying single agents aren't business owners. What I'm saying is you definitely have to become a business owner once you start bringing people into your world as a paid opportunity, whether that's W-2 or 1099 real estate agents.
Yeah, and I don't think people, because I did not at all. Like I didn't realize it. Like there was a couple of guys in our office they have some pretty good sized teams, and they talked to me about joining several times. And whole time I was like, man, I just want to do it. I want to do it on my own. I want to do it on my own. I didn't have another good reason except I want to do it on my own. I just don't want to join a team, and I want to go down this path by myself. And man, there's been days that I've been like, man, I should have just joined a team. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like especially like the early growth points when you have no idea what's going on and everything's just like hitting you from 100 different directions. It is like that. You got to deal with people now. You got to deal with personalities. You got to deal with people being sick and off time and who's not doing this. And we got a bunch of leads coming in and none of them are getting answered. So now I'm wasting money, and you got to keep track of your P&L and your profit and loss. And oh my God, that's all the money we made this month. We lost $900. I'm like, what's going on? We got 4 agents here, you know? So it's, all that stuff is your systems have to be locked down early. So I would say when you get your first admin, I wouldn't treat him like, I wouldn't hire somebody that was just going to be a set up inspections. I would hire someone that's good enough to be able to sit down and help you. Hey, if there was 2 of me, what would a system be that they could come in and plug into and be able to do transactions? Because I don't need to know that because I'm already here. But what if somebody else came in and you said, here's your checklist, here's your step-by-step, and here's your operations manual for how to be a real estate agent? That way, because that's a great place to start. Do it. It seems stupid, like you got one admin, you just want to sell a bunch of business. But if you want a team, do that now, and maybe even live by that model. I don't know.
Yeah, and you have to build that foundation. And I think we forget a lot of times as single agents that we had a large learning curve in that first year plus, and a lot of it was just learned by doing and learned by repetition and learned by failing forward. We didn't, probably most agents, I would say, I think it's fair to say, didn't document those processes. They just were out there grinding and hunting and just failing forward. And that EA is so critical to come in to take time off of you and having to totally document the systems. They can now brain dump, you can brain dump on them. They can shadow you for a month or 2 and be like, you're getting in the car with me, you're sitting in the office with me, you're going to go everywhere I go, and you're just going to take notes and you're going to build the system. And now they're learning as you're doing, right? It's the I do it, we do it, they do it, right, kind of thing.
And I'll tell you, my admin staff right now is, maybe I'm jumping the gun on saying this, but phenomenal. Like they've got systems and there's things that happen in there that I've never even, I don't even know exist. And like as far as the ways to do things, how clients get contacted, checklists, we get listings. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. That's why they're there, because it's not my job anymore. And there's a lot of people that, and I think the biggest thing as a team leader, if you're going to do it, is learn. The hardest thing for me to do for the first year was realize that there's something that I'm good at, and everything else, somebody else is better than me than. And so if you're going to micromanage people that you're hiring, you don't need a team and you don't need to worry about it. You just need to do it yourself and keep selling your houses, because there's going to be a long time after you start building the team where you could have made more money as a single agent.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And it's a growth point. And I think that's the part that people don't understand, especially as you're giving up more of your business to others on the team and you're taking a 50% cut on what could have just been you. But I think there's a ceiling, right? And I think what we've talked about before is, what's your lifestyle worth, right? If you want to do 6 deals and that you're happy with that and that financially secures you, but more power to you, right? Single agent's the right way to go. But if you you're pushing 30 deals, 25 deals, whatever, and you're like, I have no family life, all I do is work, I have no leverage, this is miserable. Well, you can still accomplish that by getting the right leverage in place, right? And building a team. And now you're making it just as much money, if not more, and others are doing it in partnership with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another good thing to do as a team is find out. I don't know when the right time to start a team is, because I've heard some really big real estate agents say a lot of things about a lot of different ways. I know I know a rainmaker that does 380 deals a year. Well, actually, technically, we have one in our office that lists a lot of houses like that. But I know another one where our team does 400 deals a year, and she's the head listing agent. And she has a CEO that she pays to run it. She likes listing houses. There's no right way to do it. It's once you start the team, go. I actually know of another one that does nothing but work with buyers.
Yep.
I don't know where I heard this person from, but I vividly remember hearing the story about the one that works with buyers. If you're like me, I'm not going to be that guy. I like, because I am a little bit more managerial and like things the way I want things. So I would probably fall more into the management or CEO style role in the long run than not. And maybe not. Maybe I find somebody that's better than that at me at some point.
Yeah. And you'll outgrow, like, where you're at. You'll outgrow sometimes, like you said, for me to be a leader doing 1 million units, I'm probably not that guy. I'm probably a good guy at 200 to 500 units leading an organization, but I don't think I'm that guy at 1 million, right? And I think we all at some point in time are looking to outgrow our business and replace ourselves wherever you are in that organization, because I promise you there's somebody that's bigger, better at that level.
Yeah, I think another thing to do at the base of it is figure out what you like and what you believe in as far as you need to be pretty solid as an individual agent before you jump into anything else, because you got to figure out what do you think? Like when I went to my first family reunion, which would have been in New Orleans for Keller Williams, and that was I don't remember what year that was. That was
5 years ago, 5 years ago, somewhere in there. Yeah.
There was a guy that said this, and his team was a door knocking team, and it was just, here's the deal: you knock on 30 doors a day. If you want to be on our team, that's just what we do. I mean, if you don't want to go out there and sweat or put a jacket on when it's cold and knock on doors, I understand, but that's what we do. Well, I believe this to another guy who I think's with EXP now. I think it's Ricky Caruth. He is he's a big agent down in Gulf Shores or Orange Beach, Alabama. I think he's been with Keller Williams like a long time ago. He was a rematch for a big period of time. But he's the guy that wrote the book Zero to Diamond, and he's I don't know how long he was in the business, but there were several years where he made netted over $1 million as a single agent. Mm-hmm. And his philosophy was cold calling. He's like, dude, knock on doors if you want to, but I can get to way more doors right here in front of my phone with the right scripts. And so that's what we do. I've got a rule of a minimum of 50 cold calls a day. That's it. Doesn't take long. Most of them don't answer the phone. You only talk to like 3, 4, 5 people a day. But call that many people, and some of my guys sometimes get on a roll and they burn through it, and they're like, hey, I'm on a roll, so they call 200. Sometimes it's hard to get them to call them at all, but in the long grand scheme of things, I'm looking at we do it Monday through Thursday. That's about 200 calls that I know of lead generation they're gonna do, and more than that, I know how it's not cold calling that I believe in. It's farming. Because it's knowing, and I say this because it's just all know what your team is and how to teach, because when I say, okay, well, I know what I've been successful at, so how are you going to teach somebody else to be successful? Because having a big sphere of influence isn't a teaching method. Right. Like, it's not, how do you, if you come in and and there's 50 people in your phone, or you move from another town, I've been here my whole life, so of course I get some deals. But teaching somebody to walk in and be a good agent, it's like, how do I do that? You have to have a grasp of that. Mine's like really farming. I'm like, pick small neighborhoods, guys. Find about 3 or 4 small neighborhoods, burn through them. The people that answer, take them off the list. The next day, burn through them again. People that answer, take them off the list, and call till you get them all. And if you call them all, we'll send out a postcard that's got your face on it to connect everybody to it. So that's that's my how to teach people to build their database.
Yeah, it's huge because, like you said, it's about, like I said, I think the biblical principle, right? Teach a person to, or feed a person a loaf of bread, or teach them to fish, and they'll eat for life, right? And that's huge. It's about training people, and I think, and giving them the systems, right? And I see it both ways. New agents, it's a great opportunity because you're established and you have the systems and the models and the value to help get them off and running. And I also believe more experienced agents in our world, and I believe it's true in most teams, is sometimes senior agents are looking for that leverage piece. They're like, been down that road. I have to do my own marketing. I have to do my own expenses. I have to pay for my own internet leads. I have to put my signs out. I have to. And all of a sudden they're like, that is time and money. I could be spending that time lead generating to get more business and allowing all that other stuff to be taken care of by the team.
Absolutely. I heard one time, and I know I'm harping on people at Keller Williams, but that's all I've been listening to. And that is, Gary Keller once said, look, you're either going to be on a team or you're going to own a team. If the market shifts, the leverage that you get from a team, the financial backing, the support, everything, it's almost impossible to. No, it's not, because they've done it through the last shift. They did it through this one. We've got some agents in our office right now that are superstar agents that work through it. But when the market really, and in my mind, the market right now is shifted. Like, it's very difficult. Like, people think of the market shift turning into a buyer's market tough. Well, in my mind, we're so far one way right now that you're kind of there. Because right now, if you've got buyers, there's tons of buyers. You're not really selling many houses, at least in our market. You're spending a lot of gas to lose a lot of offers, and you got a giant pipeline, which seems cool, but it's not. And then but you're fighting for listings. And that's the only way that you could really make money without a lot of luck in a lot of cases. So right now the market's as hard as it's going to be, and that having that team is going to give you that extra support or having a team or being on a team is going to give you the extra support, because that few extra dollars. I know I just said buyers kind of stink right now, but those few extra leads, hit them up. Hey, I want, like Rob Davis, one of my guys got one today. I had a lead come through my phone that I just gave to him. It was like, and it was an easy one. There's a piece of land out here in the sticks that nobody's touched in forever. He wants it. Here, go buy it. So you're going to have a little bit of help from that. And if he hadn't been on the team, things are tough right now in some regards. So if he hadn't been on the team, that one lead that's going to probably make him, I don't know, a couple grand. So I don't know. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, well, I'm going to kind of button this up, and that's kind of like, we could spend hours on teams and the challenges and the leverage and the benefits. And so but for today, this was a great, how to get started with the team, what you're looking for, what kind of pushes you into that team mindset, what are some of the early stages of building a team that you really need to look for. And, I really appreciate you taking time. I know it's 6:30, I think, your time in the evening. So thank you so much for sticking around. Or no, actually, it's 5:30 your time. I forget. I'm on Mountain. I thought I was on Pacific for today.
I think the only thing, if I buttoned up everything I said, the takeaways was hire. Take a long time to hire and hire well. Know your culture. Know how to train your people. And that's know what you want. Know what you want your business to look like before you start it.
Yeah, 100%. And know who it is you're looking for, right? Like, who fits that idea. And I don't care if that's an EA. I don't care if that's an agent. I don't care if whatever. Yeah. You need to have that really narrowed in. And I don't care what their production was. I don't care if they were the CEO to the IBM or admin assistant to the CEO of IBM. If they don't fit what you're looking for, it's probably not the right fit, right? So,
yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Well, we only have a couple more months and we can start bantering. With baseball lockout, I guess that's not happening right now, but I hope that comes to an end soon so we can begin.
I don't know, man. I heard there was going to be a players strike. I heard there was a players strike.
I know it's not helping my Airbnb in Scottsdale right now with yet another season of no spring training.
Not at all.
All right, brother. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you as always, and I look forward to our next venture together in person.
All right, Mike. You have a good
All right. See you, man.